Hello, it's TuliTuli, and you're watching The Melting Point. Thank you for watching. I am doing things a little differently. There's no silver pouring in this episode, but we are going to go over some of the blackener and what happened and what I did. And then I'm going to take this knowledge and I'm going to apply it to something in the future. I'm going to share some footage following this, and you'll see what happens. I do talk in that footage, so there is no music. You will hear me speak. So, all right. These are the two pieces I did my test run on for the blackener. I took my stamps, I stamped them. I took two different methods of how to apply the JAX is what I use, and I show that in the footage. I tested out two different methods. I watched this company's how-to short video that they use on sterling silver. That's all the research I did regarding this process, and this is the result. So I applied it two different ways, and then I skipped one step. I didn't skip this step on purpose. It was just poor planning on my behalf. So I don't think it would have changed the outcome at all anyways. So I then washed off the blackener from the top surface, so it was only in the grooves. And I let it sit for a day or two. I didn't touch them. I just let them do its thing. And actually, it's probably been longer than that. I can't remember when I recorded that video, but I just last night tumbled them. And they came out of the tumbler nice. But the problem was I then took a little itty bitty bit of polish and bam, the polish did its job. A+ polish. You worked. You did your job really good. All right, so pardon the background noise. When I pull a tripod out, the beast gets a little jealous here and wants to make a ruckus. I'll just pause here. This is the back side, or this is the front side. And this is the front side on this one. Ignore the hearts. That's just me goofing around. That means nothing. The polish did a fantastic job. A+ polish. A little too good of a job because I didn't want the blackener to come off. But okay, I tumbled them. I took them out. Took a little Dawn soap to them. Washed it. And then I took some polish to it after I dried it. And when I did, it took off some of the blackener. If I go like this, that's kind of like what we want it to look like, but it's an illusion because when I'm looking at it outside of the camera, what I'm seeing is, let me rotate this on an angle. What I'm seeing in person outside of the camera is what you're looking at right now. And if you look at the 3/9 fine, like at the bottom here, you can see there's barely any blackener on there, even the year. And you can start to see it coming off of multiple, like the U in the second Tuli, the OZT if you're new. OZT means troyons. And yeah, so it did not stay on after the polish. Now, let's go to this bar because I did take a little bit of polish. And when I mean little, I mean a very small amount. But that just means it's really good polish. Or I did a really bad job doing the black oxidizer. One of the two. But that's the whole point of the series, everybody. So, all right, you can see the blotchiness of the two here, and the rest of the year is just almost completely removed. You can see the blotchiness here also. TuliTuli is basically back to where it started. There's a little blotchiness up here. But yeah, the second I took it out of the tumbler, they looked really good. And I didn't capture an image of them before I took the polish to them, which I should have. But as soon as the polish hit, bam, that blackener came off. So this is trial and error. That's the whole point of the series, everybody. Thank you for watching. I'm going to attach the footage of me actually doing the steps prior to this video. So that's going to be shortly after. Don't go anywhere. And I'm going to take what I learned here and I'm going to make it better. So when I actually have pours that are up to my standards, I am doing this properly and I don't make these types of mistakes on those. So practice, practice, practice. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, no matter where you are and when you're watching. And don't go anywhere. The footage is following. Hello, it's TuliTuli, and we're in not a different location at the moment. So, all right, I have here a box of goodies and a guilty pleasure, and I'm gonna share it with you. Are you ready? All right, first, my guilty pleasure. Wait, yeah. Sugar-free Rebel. That is my guilty pleasure. And inside is some of my silver pours. This box is actually perfect because it's the order I poured them in. I just dropped a video recently and that was me pouring the hearts. These are the hearts I kept. I did stamp them and they're practice, so I do plan on remelting them. This is the first heart I poured in the mold and I still have not cleaned it. I know, the lighting is super not great, but we can make do. All right, so, and then I have the bars and hearts and more bars. I came to realize so far that I really like the bars, the hearts, and the diamonds, which I don't have the diamonds out here, but that's okay. The hexagons I'm not a fan of. These pieces off to the side are just ones that I was playing around with. I'm going to be doing, for the second time, I'm gonna fill in the letters of my stamps. Now, I was practicing how to stamp them, and it's gonna be really hard to see because of the lighting situation we have going on. So these are the first two that I decided to stamp. All right, so this was this little black thing that you can see that it's supposed to say USA, and I ended up just stamping USA on it individually. I like the angle, so I put my TuliTuli on the angle and then I added a heart to it. And I did the same thing over here. My heart placement was off. I have to get that right next time because they're both wrong. And then the weights, and then underneath that, the 3 nines fine silver. So I know you can't really see them, but I also want to include, I was messing around because I don't know exactly what I want to do. So that's the whole point of the practice pours. And I wanted to have the year on them as a memory. So I did put 2023 on all the pieces I have poured so far that I had stamped. And on this one, I put TuliTuli and a heart. I like it. And I put the year on this side. But I want to keep everything pretty consistent. So I am thinking ahead. And if I do side punches or side stamps, that's going to be a lot more time consuming in the future. And I want to set myself up for realistic goals. And I can always add it later on, I guess. And maybe I'll change my mind. You know, I could do all this and I could have another idea could pop into my head, you know. So I did try the sulfur and the oxidization. I have JAX Silver Blackener to put into the creases of the stamps. Now this one, I was a little impatient because I was waiting for the product to come in and I decided I'm just going to take a permanent marker. So I took a permanent marker to the Tuli and the heart and the USA and I even tumbled it and the permanent marker did not come off. Believe it or not, the permanent marker stayed on and that was kind of impressive to me. I thought it would come off in the tumbler. All right, so but it was the second time I tumbled it. All right, so what we're gonna do is, this is one I practiced on already. and ignore ignore the hearts. I was thinking, oh, it'd be cool to do an hourglass. I was thinking about doing an hourglass, and I'm not sure if that's something I want to do or not, but I don't have a personalized stamp. But yeah, so I practiced the sulfur on these. I did the the blackening on these also. And you can see my stamping is all over the place. So I need to work on that. That's why I am doing this. And then this is like a random leftover silver that I just dumped in. And I was practicing on this also. So, all right. I only did half of this. I don't even know what you want to call it. Bar, but you can see where the line is. I didn't let it sit for as long as I did this one. And when I did this one, the water was much hotter than it should have been. So the temperature was not the right temperature also, because that also plays a difference. All right, so I am going to say I have not researched this. I did watch the short video on the company itself, but I did not YouTube how to do this. So I like to learn by trial and error, and that is what we're going to do today. I'm not doing all these pieces because that's going to take a very long time, and if I get them wrong, then there goes all my practice pieces. So I'm only going to do a few. But on the hearts, I put the USA on the side instead of the year. And then, well, all right. So this is my favorite heart. I'm keeping this one. I'm really excited about this. And it's 2 ounces exactly. All right. So don't want to drop this one. All right. So I did punch it or stamp it on an angle. 2 troy ounces, 3/9 fine silver. I put the year here, and that's just a blemish, and the TuliTuli with a heart on its side. And then the USA, I decided to put on the side of the hearts. Instead of putting the year on there, I put the USA on the side of the hearts and the year on, I'm not sure what I did. I kind of switched it up, but this is my favorite heart, and I hammered it because I think in the video, I'm not sure if this is included in the video I just dropped, but it had a kind of a lip. It was raised, and I took the hammer to it because I wanted to hammer it down, and I actually really like the look of the hammered heart. And I think that's going to be really pretty once I master, or once I learn. I don't want to say the word master, it's a little too early for that, how to, I don't think you can master it. I think it's a practice. So just like, you know, practicing medicine, practicing law, practicing silver pouring. So yeah, so far this is my favorite. So I love this heart. But all right, so I did stamp these. They're all a little differently stamped for the most part. They should be similar because I wanted to streamline it. I just was trying to figure out what I liked the best. And okay, so the first heart and my favorite heart we're not touching. The ones that I somewhat like, we're gonna save for last, clearly. But I'm thinking, because I messed up on, like on this one, I thought I did like a pretty good job getting it on the line here. And then I messed up and I put the F sideways. So if I were to correct the F, then yeah, that's not gonna look good. So this one has a sideways F, which you'll see when I blacken it. And due to that reason is why I took my, you see that F? Now I know if the F is facing me, then it's good to stamp. I can't make a mistake that way. And I did that with all the ones that I plan to use, and I figured I'm not making that mistake again, and that was my solution. All right, I guess we will start with a heart. I'm not sure which bar to use because I like all the bars. I realize I really like the bar because it's nice and clean. This one's kind of like more of a loaf, and I like the clean lines, honestly. That's kind of the reason why I didn't want to continue on using the hourglass, is because this one, it's not really clean lines, it's curved lines. I know the heart's curved lines too, but you can't do a straight line heart. That would be weird. All right, so we're just gonna do this heart. I'll leave those there for you guys to stare at if you want to. And yeah, that's my favorite, the hammered heart. I like the idea of hammered hearts. I think I may do all my hearts hammered. We'll find out. And then smooth edges. That could be a thing too. I like the idea of the hammered heart. So, all right, we'll find out. I did hammer. Well, I hammered this one because I wanted to. I got a specific hammer not made for silver, but I wanted to test it out. So I can't remember which one I used it on, but yeah, I have two hammers I picked up, and they have textured ends, not made for silver. All right, let's get to it. I do have safety glasses, and the first time I did this, I did use Q-tips, but I'm thinking about trying a paintbrush this time. The company, when they were doing it, they used the Q-tips, but I'm thinking we're gonna try this. And this is a bad one probably to be practicing on because all of my marks are so close together that I don't think maybe this is a practical use. Maybe I should do a bar instead. All right, we'll do eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I think I put hourglass on one of them. Yeah, this one I put an hourglass on, so I guess this is the one we're gonna do. And it was raised up at the ends too. So I try to hammer those down so it has a hammered border, hammered edges, except for where the USA is, and then the back. All right, so we're gonna do this bar, and put another layer down here. And this stuff can give you chemical burns, so be careful if you're using this at home. But you should be able to see it darken right before your very eyes. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? Last time, I just blotted it. But then I needed more cleaning up. And if I don't need to do more cleaning up, I'd rather not. So we'll see how this goes. And I don't know if I need more or not. Maybe I'm just not getting in the lines. Yeah, I think I'm just not getting in the lines. Well, that's why we have trial and error, right? Make sure you are well ventilated also. All right. Let's see if this makes a difference. Maybe we will go back to the Q-tip. went to the store. This is like the smallest brush they had. And I probably went to the wrong store to get it, but I was there anyways getting some other things. So, alright. It's starting to darken. Yeah, it might be faster in the long run to use a Q-tip, but I am thinking it might take longer to clean too. I'm not sure. Should we try a Q-tip on? Alright. I think we'll try a Q-tip next on the lower half where the 3/9 fines is. Let's do the USA. You guys want to watch it turn black in front of your eyes? Or darken? I guess this is what happens when you have a good punch. It blackens better. Alright, so just go over those one more time. I'm just blotting. I'm pretty sure that's what they did in their video. But they were working on sterling silver. I don't think it really makes a difference, honestly. There we go. You want that to look like a 5. And then an F and S. Alright. And we have our USA. Our hearts everyone's dripping. It's dripping. Let me put this Q-tip in a safe place right here off to the side. And that's what we have. Alright. So what we're going to do next is spot a spare dish out. And some of the baking soda. Alright, and I believe you're supposed to wash it off with some soap and water, but I don't want to take it in the house, so we're going to do it. We're going to skip a few steps. Alright, so this is baking soda that I'm putting on it. And it's a natural abrasive. So it should take off anything that is still on the surface that's not part of the stamp. And I'm thinking it'd be better if I washed it and used my hands for this, but I don't want to. Or actually not my hands, but maybe some kind of towel or something. All right, let's get a little wet. So you're supposed to tumble it after. It's supposed to help also. Now normally I would bring soap out here, but I didn't bring soap out here. And we are going to do it this way. I guess. What's that quote? If you take shortcuts, you're going to get cut short. Yeah. Ever hear that quote? I can't remember where I heard it. I just remember it. And I do have a bristle brush I could probably use, but I don't want to, for the fact I don't want to get like in the grooves. But you can see. So my U needs to be punched a little better. But you can see where scrub, scrub, scrub. Scrub, scrub, scrub. All right. Probably definitely put music over this. If you're still watching, thank you. I appreciate it. If you want to see me make some mistakes along the way, this is the perfect time to do it. Always constantly learning. All right. So, it's not too bad. Oh, the crying heart. I can still see the shadow where the cry was. Or I guess they usually say bleeding heart, but my heart cries. So that's why I automatically said crying heart. But yeah, I guess it would be a bleeding heart to everybody else. All right, so no more crying hearts. I think I got it off. All right, I think it's looking good. Not too shabby. I think this could use some love. All right, let's rinse it off. Oh, I forgot to do the hearts on the opposite side, but that's okay. Now I believe they say before you use this, make sure your silver is dried off and cleaned. So technically you would hold it like this. I put the TuliTuli a little too vertical. It should have been more on an angle like how the T is and then there. But that's why I was practicing. And then we have our USA up here. So that's our first bar. And yeah, I didn't do that, but we'll come back to that. All right, let's do another one. It reminds me of a postcard for some reason. Don't ask. And I'm just going to stick with the Q-tip. But I'm going to put it flat so that it doesn't run. And I don't know if time plays on our side or not. So I'm going to do this a little bit faster. Oh, I don't think I punched my 9s well enough. And the 3 9's fine. This could be a result of the moisture from all the rain. I've been wanting to pour for every time I wanted to pour for the last week, it just was rain, 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 and I couldn't do it without that moisture. It's not good. So I decided to hold off. All right, so I think that's going to be a lot to clean up, but we'll do it. Oh, and I don't yeah, this one I didn't put anything on the sides, so there's no US. Oh, because the USA is on the back, that's why. And I had the year on the back also, so. And since it was like a wafer type, not a wafer, but like a loaf type, that's. Yeah, it needs some kind of. I'm guessing circular motions are going to be better. Now we're not doing the sulfur, I'm just kind of testing out the stamps on it. I'm curious to know. Oh yeah, that I didn't really. I can't go back now. I already got it wet and dirty. And I can always go back to it later though, I think. I mean, because they were tumbled. I don't know if that makes a difference, but they say to make sure it's clean. I want to try my own process first. And figure it out from there. Yeah, you see how they have like those black spots? That's why I was trying to use the paintbrush, because my dexterity isn't what it used to be. So I guess we could try a brush. Should we try a brush, everybody? They just said use your hands, but I guess that's what we'll do. The permanent marker, I feel like worked a little bit better, but this, I guess the permanent marker is adding to the top of the silver versus like toning it or blackening it. Kind of like you don't want to put the enamel on here. All right, so it is not horrible. I honestly don't have full faith that that's going to come off in the tumbler. Only because the permanent marker didn't. So it's going to be test run for sure. All right. Yeah, I think I had some moisture in there, some of it not to stick. I could see it repelling. So that was my sign number one. Now, if that's what it's going to do, if it reaches moisture, I'm not sure. I'm just saying what I observed while I was doing it. And I guess so that's what we have, folks. Let me dry it off. Yeah, check that out. You can see the blotches. Where's my golf tee here? So depends on the angle. Like you can see a little blotch there, one here, you know, and then there's one here. And then this isn't colored in all the way. And I saw the because I can see the grooves all the way go up here, and the coloring didn't go in. I could see this part repelling. I just think this is bad stamping, and I don't think I pressed hard enough with the blackener. But this is supposed to be a 1.9 troy ounce. That's supposed to be a 9 right there. But all right. I wore 2 layers, everybody. I'm prepared. What you have here. All right, so we'll have to see what it looks like after it's tumbled. This one had a better outcome overall. I know, there we go. So you can see the 3/9's fine. It's 2.15 troy ounces, 2003, TuliTuli, and the USA. Oh, yeah, it has hammered edges too. And then, well, that's just something I forgot to do, but I don't really care about that anyways. It will be remelted. But we're gonna antique this another day and test that out. And then this is the other one. So this is, I think the first ones, yeah, the first ones that I poured, I stamped horizontally. Oh, my glove broke. All right, so the first ones I poured, I stamped horizontally. And then if you notice, the newer ones I did vertically because I like the vertical look. I like the horizontal look too. It kind of reminded me of a postcard, like the USA being the stamp. And I thought, you know, I don't know, putting TuliTuli here would be like the return address. I'm spitballing fire here. But yeah, so this is how it came out. I'm going to tumble it and I will see what happens and share it. Time to clean up. I hope you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, no matter where you are and when you're watching. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bye.